Christopher Woods. Christopher set up much of the research software engineering training that many of us will have taken, and is just really instrumental in driving this AI conversation forward. Thanks very much.
Thank you, Dan. Thank you, everyone, for coming. I'm one of the AI infrastructure leads as part of a big team trying to put this together at speed. So, why AI? Why are we hearing about AI now? AI is being developed over many, many decades. Why are we hearing about it now? It's because AI is moving from effectively what's called a computer science, a thing of study, to now computational science. Computational research is being put into practice, and it can be put into practice by normal researchers. The tools are very easy to use. You don't need to be an expert to have access to them. Essentially, the tools and the technologies have got to a point where if there is a pattern in your data, an AI can learn that pattern. It can then make predictions from that pattern. This means that when you feed an AI the whole of proteomics, it can now predict protein structure and design antibodies. When you feed an AI the whole of quantum physics, it can design new batteries. And that's the really cool thing about where we're going, not just going from the internet and being able to predict the next bit of text, but actually taking all the data of science and then learning that and then creating new materials for the green revolution, for medicine and for electric cars and all of those things. As I said, the software is now accessible, open source, open technology, easy for people to use. And as the size of your data and your model grows, the capability of that AI increases. And what we find is the size of that model, as it increases, you get to what's called emergent capability. You train your AI to do something, and then you find it's actually capable amazingly of doing something else. And there's a really nice sort of animation which comes with this. Hopefully this will play, where you start off with an 8 billion parameter model just for sort of language modeling, and then suddenly it can do arithmetic, and as you add more models, it can do logical inference and tell jokes and answer physics questions. And it's because as these models grow and they suddenly become more capable and get this emergent capability, that you're having this race now to get as large a model as possible. So what you're seeing in this graph is over the last kind of 20, 30 years, the number of parameters of the model sort of going up, and this is an exponential plot. So in the last kind of 2 years, we've gone from models that were in the 50 million parameter range, 10 million parameter range. We now have models which are trillions of parameters. Massive, incredible models that do incredible things. What's really nice is that a lot of the models now are open source. It's very easy for anybody to download these models, put them on their laptop, train them, do things with them, and then infer from them. And so as you see, there's been this explosion of open source models appearing in the last few years. And because of this emerging capability, this emerging ability for people to do things and the research being able to get access to it, there was this realization that UK researchers absolutely needed access to the tools to do AI research and apply it into their own areas, because we cannot be in a position where we're having to rely on your Amazons and your Facebooks to do this work. We have to have a national, sovereign AI capability that we as a country control and that we as a country can actually use to develop the things that we want. So that is why Isambard AI was created. It was funded by the Department of Science and Innovation Technology and UKRI specifically for UK open AI research. It is for training large language models, large-scale inference, foundational AI research, hybrid AI, machine learning. Most importantly, AI safety and AI understanding. The government has invested a large amount of money in what's called the AI Safety Institute, and that institute is looking in great detail, I think it's like £100 million a year, in great detail at how you do AI safely. And actually, I was with the AI Safety Institute yesterday actually bringing them on to Isambard AI, because this will be a technology they'll be using to make AI safe for the UK, and then to inform governance, inform legal and law, etc. This is an open and free research resource for UK researchers. You don't have to pay for it. It will be allocated very fairly to UK researchers, with the requirement that research on Isambard AI must have a strong AI component. And also, one of the nice things about this machine is it's not limited to just the big people. It's open for work jobs which are just one GPU for a few hours, all the way up to thousands of GPUs for months. So really, it's about all scales of AI. It's an extremely rapid project. It was actually funded basically November last year. And we've actually gone from having the funding kind of agreed, designed in November last year with the procurement, sort of, again, October, November last year, to actually having it installed and running in Bristol. It was delivered at the end of March, and we now have, as I said, the AI Safety Institute just gone on it at the beginning of June. These AI technologies are very energy hungry. We have built sustainability into the design of our national sovereign resource because we care about this. You know, we're not having to go through commercial pressure, we're actually designing something which is as energy efficient as possible. This means that we're optimizing for power utilization, for carbon usage. We have heat reuse. The hot water that comes off will be used for heating buildings. We've aligned it with our net zero and sustainability targets, and we've actually categorized emissions across all scope 1, 2, and 3, and 90% of the components in Isambard AI will be recycled at a properly secure facility in Edinburgh and not exported to other countries at the end of its life in about 6 or 7 years' time. Our push for sustainability was such that when we done a test of how sustainable and energy efficient it was, we actually ended up being the second most energy efficient supercomputer ever made in the whole of the planet, and this was our certificate we got for that last month. We've done this because we moved quickly, because we've been able to put our supercomputer into containers. So actually it was delivered in like a shipping container on the back of a lorry, and that then gets plonked down actually into a car park. It's not a very glamorous place for it, but it works very, very well. And actually the first part there is what you see at this little bit at the bottom. That is Isambard AI itself, just a small part of one cabinet. That's the third most powerful supercomputer in the country at the moment. The whole thing, when it's delivered over the summer, will be 12 racks of that. That'll be about 5,000 GPUs. It will be probably between the number 5 to number 10 most powerful computer in the world and the most powerful AI open research resource in the whole of the world. It's designed based on what's called this sort of Grace Hopper super chip. This is the most advanced AI processor on the planet at the moment. It is the fastest AI processor. We've managed to secure over 5,200 of them. One of the first countries to have them at this kind of scale. And what this means is that researchers will be able to take their research, which is currently running on their laptop, or if they can get a little bit in cloud, running on cloud, and be able to translate that directly to Isambard AI when it fully launches this year for free in a sovereign AI capability that we as a nation control using open source models that we control with the AI Safety Institute there, helping to guide safe and ethical responsible use of AI, and be able to run that at a scale which is tens of thousands to hundreds of thousands of times faster and bigger than anything that UK has been able to run before and is internationally competitive. So with that, I just want to acknowledge everyone involved with the Isambard AI project to enable us to go from a car park to a working national supercomputer in months. The university's been amazing and the government has funded this brilliantly. All of our partners have been working on it, and I would like to thank you for your time. Just reiterating the Bletchley Declaration, which was made at the AI Summit last November, which is when Isambard AI was announced, that is about trying to create in the UK the world's first agreement on safe and responsible AI and creating national infrastructures and open technologies and working with national bodies like the AI Safety Institute to be able to create safe, ethical, powerful use of AI so that we can then apply that to create the scientific revolutions over the next 10 to 15 years. Thank you.